Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're testing out the Digitalfoto Snoot-Mini. It'll cost this much at the time of the recording of the video. Now I did buy this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. So let's talk build quality here. The build quality is excellent. This thing is solid metal. You can adjust it very nicely. You get two gobo compartments and they are magnetized, which is fantastic. So you're not gonna lose your gobos in the dark. And you do get three replaceable heads, which are held on by these tiny screws, which again, like you'll hear me say this a lot, you can rotate the barrel with this just by loosening the little knob back here, which is fantastic. So let's take a look at how it attaches to the Jewin here, and it is just a twist lock. There is no release here or anything like that. And it does weigh the light down a whole bunch here. That is just, let me go ahead and tighten that up. But that is just how it goes. And yes, you can rotate the barrel if you need to by twisting this little knob. And then to take it off, you're just gonna twist it off. Now, this is made out of plastic, so I don't know how long this is gonna last, twisting this on and off, forcing it on and off. I could already see it sort of chipping away at the plastic. So not a great locking mechanism. Now let's talk about how it locks on to the Nanlite Forza 6DB Mark II, and as you can see, it is loose as all heck. So really not had, again, you keep losing these. So again, not really thrilled with how these attach. This is very, very, very loose. And one thing I would warn you about is do not take this front element off. If you unscrew this all the way up here, you can actually pull this off, and it says that you can put a gel in here. That's what they say it's for. Unfortunately, you get this little piece here that can easily fall out. All the lenses can fall out, so I would not mess with that. I would hold it here. I would make sure that the more circular side is pointing outward, and you want to spin this all the way down until it's pressing against the lens and the lens is not going to move. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then spin this back into position. So just be careful when taking this apart and when turning this, because you could actually turn it too much and then have all the glass fall out. Okay, so here we are with the Nanlite, and I will say that it does droop quite a bit. But one thing that is good about this is you can actually rotate the barrel here, and this does get pretty clean. The edges are a little bit out of focus. So there you go, there you have it. I did notice that there is a little bit of a bend here, but a lot of projections have that. There's a little bit of chromatic aberration, but not enough really to bother me, not anything that's gross. When I stand back, I don't really notice it a whole bunch. Let's go ahead and take this out of focus. And there we go, we could take it out of focus both ways. And it looks fairly good. Now let's go ahead and switch here and go to our windows. And again, we can rotate the barrel here. And let's get that in focus, and that looks pretty clean. It is bending a bit, and as you can see, it's got some movement here. So let me lock this down so it doesn't move around on us. But as you can see here, it does have a little bit of bowing on the sides, and there's a little bit of chromatic aberration, and it is a little bit blurry, just barely in the corners. But it does look like I can just about, so it is a little bit blurry on the edges. You can't quite get the edges completely in focus as I'm seeing here on this particular gobo. So that may be an issue that you cannot get complete on a window. But if you have something large like this, you can completely get this in focus, so or pretty close to it. So there we go. That is pretty much completely in focus. And again, I can fix this by rotating the barrel, which is a huge plus. Let's go ahead and pop this out and take a look at the spotlight. And the spotlight works pretty good here. It does lose color. Once you come out to the edge, you are starting to lose brightness and color. And there's a little bit, and there is a definite rainbow chromatic aberration around the edges. But again, standing this far back, I'm not really seeing that terribly on the monitor, I can tell. This is it. Let's get it completely in focus. And even in focus, you can see a little bit of a rainbow effect. But it is a nice wide beam. We're probably about 2 meters away from the wall, maybe 1.5 meters. So there you go. There you have it. That is what it looks like on the Nanlite. Okay, so here we are with the Juin 60W, and let's go ahead and try to get this super in focus. And I will say that it does work fairly well. Again, it's running into the same problem. Sorry, this is so low. It's just a low mount. But again, you're getting a little bit of chromatic aberration, not as much as you were, well, some there. So you are getting chromatic aberration, and it is not as clean as the Nanlite. Let's see if we can clean that up a bit. So you're not really getting a very even distribution. You can't really get everything in this completely clear. It is not completely clear. Let's switch over to the window here, and let's try to get this completely clean. And again, the edges are pretty convexed, but not bad. But again, I just can't get the whole image. Either the top is in focus and the bottom's out of focus, or the top's out of focus and the bottom's out of focus. So just know that on a Juin, not the best. It works. I mean, you're primarily going to use this a little bit out of focus, which I think is fine. The chromatic aberration does not bother me, so it doesn't look like there's a lot of chromatic aberration here. So there you go. There you have it. That is what it looks like on the Juin. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. Now, first off, I will say that this thing does get very, very, very hot. It is made of metal, so you will need gloves when changing this out or trying to rotate the barrel. That is just something I would highly suggest. Second of all, this really needs to come with a Bowens mount. I saw them somehow, I think there might be a Bowens mount available because I saw them using this in their commercial on a Nanlux FC500. I'm not sure how they were doing that, but I did see that. So that is something that is lacking. Again, it gets very, very hot. Again, if you take this off to put in a color filter, just make sure when you put this back on that the glass is seated properly and that this is tightly down. Otherwise, your glass will kind of bounce all over the place. And I do think that these knobs are a little short. They do, be careful, they do come out pretty easily. So there you go, there you have it. Now let's talk about the attachments. This thing I would not use. Unfortunately, I bought it for the Nanlite 60B, and unfortunately it is wobbly as all heck and it droops. It does, the quality does look better on the Nanlite than the Juin. That could be an issue as well. The fact that it's extremely droopy and it's not pointing straight, it's a little bit down like that. And again, both these lights had a little bit of chromatic aberration, and you really couldn't get them fully focused. Sometimes the corners were out. The corners were out on this one, and on this one, either the top was in focus and the bottom was out of focus, or vice versa. So that is just something to be aware of. And I could not test the Godox mount because I don't have any lights that fit this mount. So there you go. There you have it. So that is, I think, pretty much it. And again, there is no case, and I do absolutely hate this case. It is very hard to find gobos in this case. They just kind of shift around. It is extremely cheap. I would just throw this out and buy something else. This is not well made. This is very, very cheaply made. So there you go. There you have it. And as far as spotlight quality, it is okay. There's a little bit of chromatic aberration, but it does work, and it doesn't really bother me personally. So from the cons to the pros, this thing is made very well. I do like the fact that you can turn this and rotate the barrel, unlike most projectors out there. And I think it does an okay job. It does a decent job of being crisp. It also does a very good job of being out of focus. Again, most people are going to use these slightly out of focus. So there you go. There you have it. I think it works very well. I love the fact that you get two gobo places. You get two compartments, and they are magnetically locked, which is fantastic. And you are using, I believe, M8. I'll put on the screen what these are exactly. And they do give you some nice options to choose which one, which light you want to mount it to. I just wish there was a Bowens mount. And again, you can take this off and put in a colored gel in the top here. I wouldn't. I would just put a gel in front of it and call it a day, or use an RGB light. That is probably your best bet. But all in all, not bad for me. I'm probably not going to keep this because the other thing is it does not have cutters. I would have loved to have seen like maybe another ring here, maybe give me a little bit longer of a barrel and put in some cutters behind the or in front of the gobo mount. That would have been fantastic. That would have been super helpful. That really would have made this a solid projector replacement. And at the price, this would have been a proprietary projector killer for any one of these lights. If it fit better and had cutters, it would be fantastic. Or if you could remove this part and put in cutters, that would be even more fantastic. But unfortunately, due to the fact that there's no cutters, it does not have a Bowens mount, and it does not fit my NAND light, which is the my 6DB Mark II, which is its intended use. I'll probably not be keeping it. But all in all, not a bad product if you are looking for something to match up to your Juin lights or some of the other lights that this will attach to your Ulanzi. It does fit the iFootage lights, but the iFootage lights, again, it's fairly loose, and they do say that in the information on the Amazon page. And this does fit into small rig stuff as well. So all in all, excellent build quality. It works fairly well. It just not going to work for me for what I need it for. So that's it. Those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to mash the bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is New to Me.